Hello, this is Tatiana Kolovu, and this is the November edition of my LinkedIn newsletter, Stronger. Don't talk to strangers and other childhood rules holding us back. As a parent, I certainly didn't raise my children to chat with just anyone they might come upon in the street. The don't talk to strangers rule is legitimate when it comes to our kids' safety. However, there are important ways we can help our growing kids develop communication skills and speaking confidence. I remember coaching my son Alexei to order his own meal in a restaurant when he was just 6, and giving my 8-year-old daughter Melina money to get ice cream from a kiosk while we were in Greece visiting relatives. As they got older, I would teach them how to make food orders over the phone and to mail packages at the post office. These were small ways to help them build skills in safely talking to strangers. Now, regardless of when or where you grew up, we were all given directives as children that may still hinder our communication skills. Below are some popular examples which may be holding you back and drills to help you become a stronger communicator. Number 1, don't speak unless you're spoken to. This will not work well when you are the new employee or a rookie team member walking up to the picnic venue. The ability to strike up a conversation is a skill requiring gumption. In my LinkedIn Learning course, Starting a Memorable Conversation, I present a simple formula: read, connect, and engage, that you can put into practice in any setting. When reading the setting, first determine if the person you plan to speak to is even approachable. Now be observant and make a general comment that relates to the setting, the environment, or even the weather. This will provide you with an opportunity to follow up with an open-ended question, striking up a mini conversation. In my course, I've embedded several live action scenarios. The video clip below shows the protagonist approaching an attendee during a conference coffee break and how they quickly strike up a brief conversation. You give bonus points if you spot my cameo as a coffee connoisseur. Number 2, don't draw attention to yourself. Now, parents may have said this simply to make their children behave and not cause any trouble. Sadly, I can't tell you how many students and professionals I've tried to convince that it's okay to bring attention to yourself in a good way. This may come in the form of self-promotion in an interview, self-introduction in a networking setting, or even the way you walk into a room while making confident eye contact with everyone around the meeting table. Remember that people want to know what your authentic special sauce may be and how your experience and skills set you apart. Try not to simply list the bullet points on your resume, but connect via experiences and values displaying your true authentic self. What's the best way to workshop this? Well, try practicing some of your talking points with trusted professionals who will give you honest feedback. Work on the responses to the standard questions: what's your story? Tell me a little bit about you. Or, what's your viewpoint on this topic? Practice answering these questions with a single authentic theme that describes you and your values. If you don't brag on your experience and accomplishments, who will? Number 3, wait your turn. I'm not going to lie. This is a proper directive to give your young children. Trying to keep them from acting impulsively teaches patience and self-control. However, as we grow older, waiting our turn can restrain us from pushing back in legitimate circumstances. Now, in an earlier newsletter, I mentioned my son Alexei becoming ill. During the challenging journey, I've become pretty bad about waiting my turn. Instead, I became an assertive advocate by pushing for information we weren't getting, demanding access to physicians who said they were too busy to see us, and challenging insurance companies who were lagging on coverage. Waiting your turn is the polite thing to do, but don't let it paralyze you when you need to spring into action. Practice asking for things you're not supposed to get, or for extensions, additional information, and additional resources. Do it with a pleasant smile and a diplomatic demeanor, but do it. You may not get anything in return, but at least you'll become better at the challenging skill of asking. Then you can use it again when life demands it. Fourth one, don't ask so many questions. This directive probably stems from children asking 1,000 questions on an hourly basis as they explore the world around them. Sadly, though, when we tell them not to ask, they become adults who hold back on information gathering. Having a set of prepared questions is my own way to get to know people in a networking setting. It's pretty much information gathering, an opportunity to find common ground, and a sure way to create connections. Ask away and practice this skill in low-pressure settings, such as work breaks with your colleagues. If you want to level up the question asking skill, try to retain or remember some of the information you've learned and bring it up next time you talk to the same person. I won't lie, this is not easy to do. I use the notes section on my phone contact settings to augment my inner hard drive. These are some of the childhood communication don'ts I heard when growing up in the Greek society. Most of the time, I've used them as a springboard for enhancing my own communication skills. I bet you have your own version of these and more. I'd love to hear from you about them. Now, join me on Wednesday, November 10th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a LinkedIn Live conversation with my colleague Pete Mokaitis as we discuss insights from our 2 award-winning classes in LinkedIn's top most popular courses, the Leadership Edition. Pete is the host of the hit podcast How to Be Awesome in Your Job and will be discussing his Language of Leadership course. I plan to bring highlights from the course that I just mentioned above, starting a memorable conversation. The link is in the newsletter for this event, and we hope you will join in. Finally, follow me on LinkedIn and be sure to forward this Stronger newsletter to a friend who might benefit. Thank you so much for listening.